I see the light inside you, brighter than the skies. Hold on, just let us escape and fly away tonight. We have the world in our sight, and I know together we'll be alright. Can you see forever we will go?
Searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds jumping and I hear my name. Grass green and so alive. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah. coming home, Savannah. We'll never be alone, Savannah. The beauty of the world, Savannah. Let's all take a walk, Savannah. Lion's gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Across the land, Savannah. I'm coming home, Savannah. We'll never be alone, Savannah. The beauty of the world, Savannah. Let's all take a walk, Savannah. Savannah, we'll never be alone, Savannah. The beauty of the world, Savannah. Let's all take a walk.
Hello everybody and welcome back once again to the world of snooker, but this time around it is going to be the German Masters here at the Tempodrome. And now we've got finally the return of the 7-time world champion after a miss of more than, well, pretty much 2 months there since his defeat to another player from China, to Watchalong at the opening round of UK Championship. Now he returns onto the arena. He did say, and it was a little bit of a spoiler alert at the end of that match, where he was looking forward to playing at the German Masters, not so much at the actual Masters of the Triple Crown event. And he did say at that time he's looking forward to playing at the World Grand Prix. And of course then return to the Crucible Arena at Sheffield. But for now, I think it's all about just a little bit of a warm-up that we're going to see here. I think majority of us would expect Ronnie O'Sullivan to try and cruise through this match. And something that, I mean, so far this season, despite him not playing so many of those tournaments, it has been very reliable on, is to get through the qualifiers. And it's the high-rated players that he's struggled so far with. But this is the opening mistake from his opponent from China, Zehuang, the world number 55. Had to come through a couple of qualifying rounds. And now he's got one of the biggest tests in the World Snooker Tour. Gets slightly lucky there with his mistake. Especially with the way that he caught the jaw of the middle pocket, bouncing the cue ball onto the left side cushion. We've got a couple of other players alongside us as well. So we're on the main table. We've got, once again, Lee Hon Yu against Mark Selby. Not for the first time. These two have met in the qualifying rounds. We've got the world champion of Zhao, the likes of Gary Wilson as well. And yeah, I think so far, no major upsets. I think we've seen Chris Wakeland against Ishpreet Singh Chadha yesterday in an incredible decider. And in the end, the man from India managed to complete the comeback, as it's a nice little way of Long Jihyun to make sure that he's not going to be giving away any of those silly points. And lands the cue ball nicely onto the main bunch from the left side cushion. And yeah, of course, the winner of this match will play, well, no one else but the captain, Ali Carter. So, you know, we know that a couple of those meetings previously from Ronnie O'Sullivan and Ali Carter have been very interesting to see the least. The opening round last year at the Crucible. Then, of course, the last Triple Crown event win for Ronnie O'Sullivan at the final of the Masters in 2024. And now, of course, coming in the second round of the German Masters once again. A mistake there from Long. And it is going to be, this time around, a chance given away here to Ronnie. So far, just seems to play the patient game. Clearly enjoying here at the crowd. And just enjoying the facilities there. So vocal about the nice hospitality that he receives here. At the Masters here, the Germany. Of course, managed to win the tournament in 2012. As he gets the red nicely into the green pocket now. So he got the line up on the brown here. May be able to get through to the yellow as well. But the side of the shot that he has to try and concentrate on is going to have to be sending the cue ball alongside the left side cushion. And making sure it's going to be going down the table. So as he has one more look. Well, maybe the way that he approaches this shot, may have to try and do this off the right side instead. Going for the left. And I think he's played a really nice shot there, Ronnie. So this is a nice start and a nice warm-up for him. Because if he gets those shots coming at his opponent, he should be able to just ensure not going to be too many of those unforced errors, hopefully. Especially when he's going to have an easy red or the black of the spot. So far, none of those creeping in. And yeah, as I say, I think the only realistic matches that he had to play with lower ranking players this season must have been in the start of the China Grand Prix. Just remember, he was playing at the Saudi Arabia Masters, but he has played against decent ranking players there with Chang Min-yu and with Joe Connor in the end, so they weren't quite the outside top 64. And we've seen the likes of Julian Boyko, Yao Peng-cheng, and Long Zehuang, Alan Taylor, and Sanderson Lam that he's played against, but now tries to get the cue ball into the main bunch. And as long as there's a way for him to try and get past the other red with his cue, he should be able to get the white on for the blue. But this is not an easy shot, and well, ideally would have liked to avoid those type of shots there. Missed it by a mile, so 21-point score there for Ronnie. I don't know why it says 14. There we go. So 21 score there, and straight away, because he was playing for the bold colours, not so much for the blue, because of it being out of position. He leaves the red out here to Long. And let's see what the response is going to be here from player from China. Needs a big bounce, though, because one of the reds that has gone quite close to the black spot can be interfering with the positional play on the cue ball. And I think from Ronnie's point of view, you have to make sure you're going to be trying to get through those only qualifying matches as easily as you can. And so far hasn't able to do so. One minor positional play error. And in the end had to try and go for that red. Into the left corner, wasn't able to make even close to the pocket. Now let's see if there's going to be a response here from Long. But still has got a very difficult position to find himself at. Because the black being limited, had to go for the pink previously. And straight away, he's made the mess of this shot. Nowhere near enough backspin that he should have had. And instead of playing this pink with a straightforward shot into the right middle, and the positional play being easy too, he's going to have to try and take this one into the green pocket. This is nasty for a warm-up, but he makes it. Now then, how's the position going to be? And it's pretty nice as well. So the first real test of Ronnie wasn't passed, but in the end, the same can't be said here about Long Zehuang. It's the first meeting that actually is going to go ahead. They had a scheduled meeting in the 2024 season at the Northern Ireland Open Home Nation Series, but as there was a little tendency, and still remains to be seen, Ronnie doesn't like those tournaments too much right now, and he's pulled out. In the end, it was walkover rewarded to his opponent here. So now he finds himself just 6 points behind. So we're doing a similar thing of what Ronnie has tried to do previously, getting himself on the brown, and I think he'll try and do a similar thing there of onto the ball cushion, just trying to bring the cue ball down the table, but he needs it to run more than that, and I think in the end he hasn't done so. So similar situation there for the two players, just not enough on the cue ball side of view, and they did have a couple of different shots, difficult shots there to try and make his way through on both Long and Ronnie's point of view. And in the end, he had a straightforward shot there to play. wasn't able to make it perfectly in the end. And he has to be able to get himself into another chance here, Ronnie. 2 points ahead right now as it stands. Still anyone's frame for the taking. He's gone for the long shot and he's made it really nicely into the pocket. Now, is cue ball going to slow down for the yellow? It won't. And unless Ronnie O'Sullivan finds himself to go for a do or die shot on the brown, which probably is not going to be too weird of a thing to do, especially with it being the opening qualifying round here. And in the end, he refuses that shot, so just takes the cue ball onto the yellow and gets it in behind the blue and the yellow combination. So it's once again, it's a good sign of maybe just a bit of patience there from Ronnie O'Sullivan at the early parts of this match. Let's see if that's going to be kept the same way throughout the entire match here, because we have seen this style very much crumble at the business end of the matches against Sanderson Lam and Jack Lisowski at the International Championship. Not so much against Watchalong there, it was just a matter of so many errors being made at the end. So the first error is going to be 4 foul points given away here to Ronnie O'Sullivan, and once again, the position is going to be put back. The cue ball going inside the D yet again. It's listening it in, gives me a heart attack. You might be watching it live. Well, it's not that bad because, as I say, I think it's only the first frame. I think if Long was leading 5-4, then 4-3, I should say, with this match being first to 5, then you could start getting a bit anxious there. But this is not going to be, you know, a horrible way of this match to progress. Ronnie should be able to get through it rather easily. For now, he's going to get another 4 points. And this time around, he might be tempted to take this red into the right corner. And let's see if he's going to try and do it. And in the end, he's going to say to the referee, no, I'm not fancying this one too much. And the simple reason for that is because of the cue ball going straight into the main bunch with the rest shot. You need a lot of cue power for that. And Ronnie probably doesn't fancy it, taking any risks here at the early parts of this match. And of course, if he hasn't worked out on 2 previous occasions, he may not work out on the third one. And Long has changed the direction of the cue ball. I think he's playing the shot perfectly as long as he hasn't left it red onto the right middle. I don't think Ronnie's going to have a look at it at this stage. They'll probably know is the answer. Nice line and very nicely judged there on the pace. Had to do so. Otherwise, as I say, would have been leaving a chance to take this red into the green pocket or the right middle in the end. As Ronnie just plays a 2-cushion escape with the cue ball, sending it nicely behind the green. And it's a really nice shot there from Ronnie because, you know, once again, he's not usually the type of a player that you would praise all the time for those safety shots, especially landing a snooker like that. But because of all of those reds being away from the cushions, you know, this is going to be turning into a bit of a tricky game here for Long. And he's going to have another 4 points to give away. But the most important part is, has he left the red onto the right middle? It was a different one for the one that he nearly left out on the previous occasion. This one is going to go in, and he does go into the right middle. So another chance here for Ronnie, as he gets himself 16 points clear with 12 foul points conceded. And now he just needs a good shot on the pink. Finds a beautiful path there for the cue ball to go in between the brown and green. But in the end, he's unable to make any contact with the bunch. So unless this red next to the black will go, which it won't, he's going to have to play a safety shot. But still, the fact that he was able to get the cue ball to the lower part of the table past all the ball colours is going to be some sort of a positive thing for you to cheer on. And now he's got 22 points. Advantage over Long. And he's got 83 points to try and make his way through right now. So, yeah, still not an easy shot now for Long to try and play because after the previous shot from Ronnie, once again, he just manages to find that little pocket of space for the cue ball to try and land in behind the yellow, blue and brown combinations. And once again, same old 2-cushion escape here for Long. This time around, Ronnie will have a look, the referee will have a look to ensure that, so it's not touching there, says the referee. Let's have a look what Ronnie will say about it. So, yeah, Ronnie doesn't think so, but in the end, you know, referee's suggesting that there's going to be another angle, which will get him a nicer look. And in the end, once again, Ronnie doesn't seem to be like he's 100% convinced. But still, as I say, that wasn't for playing the shot into the middle. It was all about trying to play a safety shot. And once again, finding a really nice path for the cue ball of 3 cushions and in behind the green. Yeah, Zehuang Yu must be feeling like he's the one playing a duplicate Mark Selby, because this has been some relentless safety play there from Ronnie. I think 4 or 5 shots there, which, of course, if you don't count the respot of the cue ball, that Ronnie O'Sullivan has been forcing his opponent to try and play off the cushions there with the cue ball, and this one is going to be another one. So 2 cushion escape off the right side of the black ball cushion and trying to find a very minimal edge there. Played it well. Has he played well enough there? I don't think so. And it is going to be a chance here. It's not an easy chance by any stretch of imagination. But Ronnie should be going for this long red. And in fact, they already know that he will go for it. And, ooh, this is nasty though, because he's going deep onto the cue ball. And, yep, fortunately, you can always see that one being missed by a bit of a distance. It's a really nasty shot for you to try and take on. Has he left this red over the middle? He has. I mean, I knew that he was going to go for the shot. Of course, my opinion wouldn't change his mind, but I mean, the fact that he had to go so deep onto the cue ball and he missed the red by such a distance, you almost feel like he should not have gone for that shot. But of course, hindsight is a very wonderful thing at all. And now, Long has got a chance here, although it's not an easy one. He's got blue out of position, which would have been very important for him right now. So he has to try and go for the brown, you would feel. Otherwise, he's going to try and do it on the pink. That's what he's looking at. It's almost like he didn't think about the blue not being on the spot. Or maybe he was trying to get slightly closer to the pink. And in the end, with that not being the case, he's forced to go for this brown, which is not an easy shot in itself. And then also trying to make contact into the reds. And, well, once again, he played this one with so little pace. You almost feel like he's going to be just trying to play a positional shot there. But the cue ball is going to be nowhere near those reds. Quite close to the side cushion. And it's going to be somewhat similar to the shot that Ronnie has missed previously. Of course, that being a long shot attempt. Right now, this should be slightly easier here for Long. But he still needs to go really deep on the white. Now then, is he able to get this one in? He will. Beautiful shot there. Has he lost the cue ball though? He has slightly. He was playing for the black, trying to hold it together. In the end, maybe not adding enough backspin just allowed him to have more control of the cue ball and focus on the pot more. And now he needs to recover. Playing this black into the left corner, but this is nasty though. In terms of the line that he has to take. Into the red, the cue ball will go, and I think he missed it. Has he got it? No, he's missed it, and he's left that pocket wide open. So this should be an easy end of frame here for Ronnie. And Ronnie's actually there. Well, he was always going to be playing in some of those tournaments ahead of the Worlds. It was just a matter of which ones. And, you know, whatever you say about Ronnie, when he says he'll be there, he usually is there. And it's all about whether he says, I'm not sure about it. That's probably a sign of him not being at one or the other tournament. Now then, 17 points advantage as he approaches the table one more time. The fact Ronnie plays safely so much shows he's there to win one more at a time. Patience is the virtue. Yes, Ratchet Saint, absolutely. But I'm not going to say that is something that I have never seen from Ronnie, but it is always the case in the opening frame. But whether that's going to be the case when we're down to frame number 8 remains to be seen, because I feel like we've seen that with the China Grand Prix against Wilson, where he was basically going all in on those shots and he was taking absolutely no safety shots. We've seen that against Jack in the last, I think it was last 32 of the International Championship. Listen, frames like that, I'm not going to win him the title here at the German Masters, but it could be a start of something. And right now, he just needs to make sure he's not going to be making any more of those mistakes. And so far, as I say, long shot being missed by a mile. And another red being undercut massively to the left corner. Apart from that, it's not been a horrible start there for him, because he's not been averaging 5 mistakes per frame, as we've seen on some of those occasions. Now then, just needs to get a frame ball in, and he does. So fantastic. Well, not fantastic, but great bit of cueing there for him. to get so nicely on the brown too. And by 41 points, so he's going to be 45 right now. So that leaves Long with needing 4 snookers here as it stands, but he should still be nicely on this red. Taking it into the right middle. Rolls this one in. So let's see if we're going to witness the first 50 plus break. And maybe just a little glimpse of things to come. I think he needs a nice little 5-0 win. And I think we've seen those against Steve Maguire, against Julian Boyko, and against, trying to think now, against Joe Connor so far this season. Of course, the player that you have to play in the opening round of the World Grand Prix 2. For now, he gets the yellow in. So, had some really good shots in the meantime. This one was from a very difficult angle into the left middle. And he still played with power to make sure he was going to get on the green. Once again, just the body language and the way that he's down to hit those shots. He's been hitting those colours really clean into the heart of the pocket. Didn't see any wobbles so far. His positional play just seems to be there for the taking too. And right now he's on a break of 50 points here. So the first 50 plus break of this match. And every single frame in the odds of the bookies so far before this match has started was 144 for Ronnie to win. And in the end, it was as low as 111 for him to be the winner of the opening round. Now then, for it to finish with a nice little total clearance and a break of 63 points, it is a good start. It's not perfect, but maybe it is going to be finally the time for Ronnie to get to the business end of those tournaments. And now as he leads Long Zehuang by 1 frame to 0. Had a couple of chances there, the player from China. But in the end, it is the 7-time world champion and the former winner here, of course, that actually prevails through the opening encounter and now leads his opponent by 1 frame to 0. Of course, had the likes of John Higgins, Xiao Wei, Xiao and Watchalong all win their matches comfortably today. And, well, Xiao Wei and Xiao lost 2 frames. John Higgins lost 1. And Watchalong didn't need to lose any for him to be through to the main draw. Still got the likes of Karen Wilson, Barry Hawkins, Mark Cullen, Sean Murphy, Mark Williams, Neil Robertson, Jack Lisowski, Ali Carter and Stuart Bingham as, well, the notable senior players in the draw here as we approach the last 32, which is going to be the main part of the draw. Of course, this technically counts as the last 64, with it being the last qualifying round. After the players that are normally outside of the top 64 on the World Ranking Tour had to come through an earlier qualifying rounds, and then you have the likes of Watchalong, Ronnie O'Sullivan, Mark Selby, Neil Robertson, Karen Wilson, all the top seeded players joining them in the first qualifying round for them, but in the third qualifying round overall. Now then a little break, and let's have a look how the other matches are doing. So Gary Wilson takes the opening frame against Scott Donaldson. Mark Selby's done the same thing against Lee Hon Yu. And Zhao Xington is battling away there with Jiang Zhong. So it's a battle of 20 points being the deficit and 18 points still being out for grabs. For now it is Lee Hon Yu that has a good chance against Mark Selby to take the second frame away. He's on the break of 17 points. It does seem to have pretty open position up ahead of himself. From Ronnie's point of view, I think you have to say you need this one to go as smooth as possible, because this is not going to be trying to test anything, but just the way that he is able to get into the rhythm, play some nice snooker. You know, if he gets himself out of positional play, or he plays a bad shot, is he going to be able to recover? Is he going to go for those reckless long shots at any point of the match? You know, you could maybe say it's understandable if he goes for those when he's 4-0 up. But up until that point, he just needs to make sure he plays the patient game. Especially, you know, he doesn't have an easy draw at all. As I said, he's going to have Ali Carter, if he's able to find 4 more frame wins against Long here. And then, potentially, in the second round of the main draw, he could be up against Mark Selby, someone that he could have faced in the second round of the UK Championship of the Triple Crown event. Of course, couldn't actually be there because of the opening round loss. And now, once again, it's 2 long shots out of 2. Is he going to be on the black, though? After a bit of a shaky break-off shot there from Long. Well, 2 out of long shots, I mean, apart from, of course, the reckless one, which probably have to count, but because he was nowhere near it. he can barely call that an attempt of a pot at that time. And yeah, he was trying to get the cue ball onto the main bunch in the end, so was always going to have so many of those reds in between the cue ball and the black. Was unable to make a clean contact with it. In the end, just a 1 point score there for Ronnie, and it gives the turn back to his opponent. So, I wish Ronnie would play more tournaments, so will the sponsors and the fans. Well, it is a good point, but unfortunately, I don't think that he wants to do that at this stage. Whether it is going to be for mental reasons, for the health reasons, of course, or he just doesn't really want to be committing too much to it at this stage, but he certainly should be committed to this frame now because he gets another chance, and so far his opponent does seem to be playing a perfect practice game against him. It's another mistake, and it's another chance here for Ronnie, taking the blue into the left middle, trying to power his way through those reds, and well, didn't really play a good positional shot at all. In fact, I can barely understand what he's actually played for. He had a straightforward path to try and get around the red. In the end, these are the type of shots that I mentioned. He needs to make sure he gets this one in. Well, he didn't. Yeah, and for how cheap that mistake was there from Ronnie, it is a very cheap escape. 7 points scored. 6 on this break, and now it is going to be Long Zehuang back to the table. I think the same red is going to be playable. Well, he doesn't really understand where that miss came from. Well, it certainly came from the positional play, his judgment. But I still think that he should have got closer to it in the end. And, well, the same red was playable, but it just seems to be the struggle of the two players for now. It is the early stage of the match, so maybe their performance will improve. Because it is another mistake from Long this time around. And the red basically lands on the green pocket. Ronnie rolls this one in. So need a third invitation. But may need it now because of him overplaying this shot on the cue power. And despite the cue ball still being nicely on the blue, now he's going to be on the wrong side of it. So has to try and make his way around the table. Absolutely hammers the blue onto the middle, nearly breaking the pocket in the meantime. And, well, I think he's just about managed to get past the blue spot. And, unless it's going to be a 3-ball plan, though, it's not going to do anything to him. Had to watch live. So I watched it on the WSC Play. And then, I'm not sure if the qualifying round is going to be on TNT Sports or whatever. And maybe on Eurosport, though, because it is in Germany. Now then, just having a look, yeah, he was nothing that he had available to him as a 3-ball plan. So 6 points scored. And back to Long goes. So he's just going to be a safety that he plays. Having 12 reds, very much ahead of himself. Trying to make his way through it. Do you have a Discord where we can watch? No, I don't. And yeah, you can try and get a little bit of contact in between those reds. And get past it with the white. Coming to the top part of the table. Once again, just gives a little nudge to the green. The cue ball getting past that point. So couldn't quite get it in behind the green though. So should be a cross double for Long here. And we got the cue ball way too close to the jaw of the pocket. I mean, that was probably the easiest shot that he could have been left with. And in the end, he's still going to have a minor chance given away here to Ronnie. Let's see if he's going to be taking those opportunities on now. He's got a chance into the right middle, as I say, but the black being off its spot may just be a bit of a deal breaker here for him. Because you can't have a shot where you commit fully to the pot now, because he'll just score 1 point. Otherwise, he's going to be setting yourself up for a difficult black. And, well, that's what he's played this time around. He got a really nice shot on the red. And he probably just got as close to the black as he could have. No time at all. Gets the black in at the same time. So, once again, just probably seems to be settling into the gear. You know, the positional play still seems to be on a low level when it comes to playing the shots through the bulk cushion. But when he's in and around the black ball spot, apart from that early mistake in the opening frame, doesn't seem to have too many troubles here. So 22 points advantage. It'll be 29 with the black. He's got 107 points to try and make his way through. Still up to this point. So if he plays the black with a bit of backspin on the cue ball, is he going to be able to get enough of the spin, though. I don't think he has. The body language suggests that. And just as I say, he's been playing so well when it comes to the positional play in and around the black ball spot. Now he's going to have to try and get the cube onto the side cushion. So still, early days, but struggling days as well there for Ronnie. Doesn't seem to get into the rhythm, and that break of 63 points was just probably the perfect opportunity for him. Having all of those reds set up nicely. And despite a couple of colours being off their spots, he was able to make it a total clearance at that point. And apart from that, doesn't seem to have passed the value of a break of 25 points so far. This time around, across double is played really nicely here by Long. And getting the red in between all of those somehow. You know, he had basically 9 reds in the middle pack that he actually make it, well, tried to make his way through. In the end, whether that was the plan or not, certainly has worked out nicely because of him not leaving any of those reds anywhere near the pocket. And the same can't really be said about Ronnie, because despite him playing a decent shot on the cue ball, he's still got the yellow pretty much full ball and basically stalled at the yellow spot. Now let's see if this red is going to be taken there, because he has pushed it close to the side cushion, but it's also quite close to the pocket. So Long, of course, needs to make sure he's going to be taking those chances on, because this match for him has to be played in an attacking fashion. He also needs to make sure he's going to be able to get those reds in, and he does. It's a nice shot, though, because of you know, the awkward queuing, the awkward hand placement that he had, and just the way that the red was positioned previously. Now then, he's going to get himself a chance here after a bit of a misjudgment on the previous safety from Ronnie. So 28 points is going to be the deficit for him to try and overcome. All of these reds are in playable positions, but of course, sort of 8 of them are going to be bunched up together, and one more is going to be on the lower part of the black ball cushion. And well, I mean, he's taken a bit of a risk shot there, which I thought was going to be a weird shot selection, but you have to say probably didn't have another option there. Has he managed to get himself a red to try and play into the middle, though? Seems to have a look at it, and I think he's going to try and take this red on. Should be able to power the cue ball through, and well, needs it to make sure it's not going to drop, but also give him the angle on the blue. It didn't drop in the middle, which was a nice start, but I don't think he's going to have the angle either, because he basically stopped the cue ball by hitting the jaw of the middle, so he will never have the angle. So once again, just needs to power his way through onto the side cushion. And the previous shot didn't really make him a lot of impact on all of those reds, and we were clearly playing for one of them. So let's see if he was trying to get past the pink, which he hasn't managed to do. Is there going to be a plant available for him? That's what he's looking at, and he knows this is going to be his only option of continuing the break, but surely that's going to be way too risky. You know, he needs to take all sorts of risk here, but there's a lot of distance in between those two reds, and they're going absolutely nowhere near the pocket. And, well, let's see if he's going to try and make the adjustment. He did, but as I said, he didn't make it well enough. And is he going to leave this red over the right middle? He will. Slightly awkward, though, with the cue ball placement. So it may not be as straightforward for Ronnie as you would think. But for now, it's still a chance here, once again, for O'Sullivan to try and get himself back to the table. Because the thing about either one of those two playing Ali Carter is that Ali didn't really have a good season so far beyond the Shanghai Masters. Incredible run that he had, entering that tournament as a wildcard, and in the end being the runner-up to Karen Wilson. And it's a nice pot there from Ronnie, because he was able to get the cue ball to travel down the table whilst getting the red in nicely, but it's probably played in between the pink and the black. Let's see if he's going to try and make this one into the pocket. He did, but he's gone for the black, which was the harder pot for him, and he's missed it. Well, probably a bit more of something that I actually expected to see from Ronnie. When you don't play all these tournaments, and when you haven't played a competitive match for pretty much 2 months there, no matter how good you are, it's one of these sports that you can't really rely on their talents. You need to be making sure that you're going to be practicing week in, week out. And so far, it just doesn't seem to be there. Match fitness for Ronnie O'Sullivan. And Long Zehuang is going to have, once again, another opportunity. Something that I did say I didn't really want to see in the opening frame. And I was really glad for that 63 points of a break that actually came up. I don't really want to see Ronnie just taking 6 or 7 chances to make sure he's going to be able to get through those frames. Of course, it's better for him to do it that way rather than him losing the actual frame. But ideally, you just want to try and settle into the match by taking that nervy opening frame and then just trying to make sure he's going to be in somewhat close to cruise control and getting himself with all the chances to try and actually win this match quite comfortably there. But the good news for Ronnie, though, is that his opponent is unable to respond to it with, with anything, really. He's got the break of 7 points. He's had a chance to try and get the cue ball onto the main bunch. And he didn't manage to land himself on any of those reds. So 9 points is still going to be the deficit. 9 points advantage here for Ronnie. He gets himself back to the table. The cue ball is going to be placed in behind the yellow. So let's see if Ronnie's going to try and make his way out of his snooker this time. Because he has been landing those shots previously on Long himself. And he's trying to force his way into this red. And I mean, he's played it well enough that he was always going to go onto the side cushion, but also he got the cue ball pretty much just about in between the pink and the blue spot. And the good news for him was the fact that he didn't have any of those reds to be in open play. So once again, back to Long Zehuang it goes. And a bit of a slow pace match, but one thing you have to say, you can't really question commitment of Ronnie. Doesn't have the sort of the way of the game that he's going to be taking those reds one by one without missing any of them, but he doesn't seem to have taken any of those reckless shots on at all, apart from the long shot in the opening frame, which, I mean, as I say, if he doesn't roll over the middle pocket, you don't really call that reckless anyway. But when he's played those long shots with very much minor pace there, he's been able to get them in 2 times out of 2. This time around, he refuses this one. I think the fact that he had to bridge over the yellow made his mind for him. And still a nice little safety shot that he's played, making sure that the blue is going to be covering the red, that he could have gone for the long shot himself. And the red that he's used as a safety shot, in the end, he's still not going to be in a playable position there. So Long pretty much trying to respond with the same shot there, but yeah, I mean, as long as the brown is not going to impact too much there of the hand placement of Ronnie, he should be able to go for this long shot. Doesn't need to cue this one with too much of the backspin either. And if he just manages to get himself to get this cue ball to be stunned on the blue, it's a difficult shot there, but he makes it really nicely there, and probably the best shot that he's made so far in the match, because remember, the 2 shots that he's played with a long shot were sort of the ones where you don't really need too much spin anyway. But because of him trying to play this stun shot so nicely, this might give the edge over the previous 2. Still wasn't quite able to get perfectly on the blue. So he's just going to try and stun it, with the cue ball being away from the blue ball spot, and leave himself with another shot to try and take it in between the corridor of the red and the black there. I think he's going to try and play for the black maybe. And see if he's going to try and use the black ball cushion. He didn't. And he's played another really good positional shot there. 16 points advantage. So he's going to need 3 of those open reds after taking the black, which he has taken nicely. It wasn't the easiest shot, by the way, with it being so close to the black ball cushion too. And once again, similar position to the one that he had to try and finish off the opening frame. But of course, at that point, he had all of those reds being in open play. This time around, he's got one of them on the side cushion. But I think for him to be the winner of this frame, it will actually be a massive boost. Because if he's somehow to make a mistake on the next 4 shots or so, that red is going to be a bit of a problem for Long to make his way through. And of course, by that point, he's going to be well clear in terms of the points advantage that he's going to have. He's now 39 points clear. Once again, no time at all. Probably around a minute of a break. And he's managed to go from 0 points to 31 now and counting. So gets himself on the black here. Once again, really, there is a feeling of a bit of effortless there for him to play those shots. And as long as there has been mistakes, but the frame score is still going to be 2-0 in his advantage now. 47 points advantage, 35 at the table. So he's going to try and take it with a double. And, well, he didn't really. I mean, I don't think the line was on there. But he's played another great shot. And as he gets the cue ball in behind the brown, long he's going to say he's going to have enough of this frame. And it is going to be 2-0 advantage for Ronnie. So as long as he's not playing his best snooker of his career, he's still playing more than well enough for him to be 2-0 up. And yeah, he just seems to be engaging a bit there with whether himself or the audience. Once again, just saying that he probably wasn't happy with the way that he's played. But he managed to get himself over the line, as has Mark Selby. So far, the two great champions having the same scoreline and pretty much at the same time. Mark Selby was able to come through that early break of Lee Hon Yu and get himself another frame win. Neil Sullivan has done the same thing against Long Zehuang here. Zhao Xington is trying to do a similar thing against Jin John though. He's 1-0 up and 41 points advantage that he's got. Scott Donaldson is trying to get that frame back against Kyrie Wilson. It is Kyrie Wilson 1, Scott Donaldson 0. But it is the Scot that is actually on the break here of 40 points. And he's got a 39-point advantage to try and take with him as well. So I think from Ronnie's point of view, you have to say that it is all about just trying to make sure you're going to be in the first gear. If you can get through to the third gear, that's fine, that's brilliant. But if you can't, ensure you're there when it matters. And, you know, it was always going to be a massive favourite going into this match before it started. Then, if he gets himself into the main draw, he's going to be up against Ali Carter, which he does have a pretty good head-to-head, I would say, recently. As I say, the two last meetings that I could think about were the opening round of the World Championship last year and the Masters title in the final of 2 years beforehand, so in 2024. Now they had a couple of well, a bit of rivalry before, especially with that shoulder barge and a bit of a chat afterwards. And I think that was the third round of the World Championship in 2018, I'd say, something like that. But apart from that, it does seem to be able to get through those sort of matches. And of course, remember that Ali Carter is not going to be coming into this match here very fresh himself. You know, apart from that Shanghai Masters, and so I don't actually think I've seen him compete in too many of those tournaments there. Let's have a look. So he had a decent run at the Saudi Masters, yeah, where he lost out to Neil Robertson at the quarterfinals, the eventual winner. Then he got himself into the third round of the English Open, into the fourth round of the British Open, then lost out in the opening round of the China Grand Prix, second round of the International Championship. Northern Ireland Open was a withdrawal for him as well, for medical reasons, I think. And yeah, just getting himself through the opening qualifying round for him against Ricky Walden, the start of January, with a score of 5-2. Lost out to Artemis Zizens in the UK Championship, which would have been the qualifier, and the semi-final appearance for him. And Zach Zuerti once again at the Scottish Open as well. So Ali Carter just, apart from that match when he's managed to win the qualifier in the German Masters, he does have very much a negative head-to-head stats coming into this clash with either Ronnie O'Sullivan or Long Zehuang here. Ronnie's going to be a massive favourite, even without that 2-0 advantage. And of course, even more when he's got it. And has got another good break-off shot. As long as he's managed to cover up this red and make it not available here for long, I think he should be able to get through it. Whether he'll be able to pot it or not is going to be another question. And he wasn't able to. Has he left anything though? I think he has. But I also think that he's managed to mess up the position of the black badly. So, yeah, 2-0 advantage. That may be just entering the zone where Ronnie O'Sullivan can be taking those risks. Especially with him so far not being punished for any of them. And could this be the time though? because it's another shot there. He's undercut. Doesn't seem to overcut a lot of those reds into the left corner. And now just trying to make sure that the yellow is, sorry, not the yellow, the red is going to be potable there into the right middle for Long Zehuang, but as that doesn't seem to be the case, probably he's going to try and go for the other red, just underneath the black. But it's going to be slightly more difficult for a shot for him to take on. Plays it nicely though. Needs the cue ball to bounce away, and doesn't. So he is on the black, but the white is on the side cushion, which is not ideal. And he's going to try and get this black in with, I mean, he can pretty much not worry at all about the positional play here. And it's all about just trying to concentrate on getting the black in, because he's going to have such a great variety of those reds up ahead of himself. And he's played a really nice shot there, to be fair. He's got the black in, and he should have position on the other red into the left corner too. Well, that's probably the reason and the danger, I should say, that Ronnie has played that shot with the opening red. He was trying to open up the pack pretty much straight away and get himself into maybe the first real chance for a century break, and or something along those lines. And in the end, it was a chance given away there with him missing that red straight away. Long had to make a couple of, well, difficult shots there for him to try and make his way through. Now, as he gets himself onto this black, you should be able to try and stay around the black ball spot for the foreseeable future. He's got so many reds to try and work his way through. On the opening, on the lower part of the table, he's got 3 of those on the top part of it as well. So this should be a nice chance here. As long as he avoids those unforced errors. Gets the black in and gets a nice little cannon on the cue ball too. So gets himself 4 options available actually. He's got red into each of the 4 main pockets. Left, right, middle. Left and right corner pocket as well. I think he'll go for the corner pocket though, for him to try and stay on the black. Goes for the red, which is going to be closer to the cue ball. So just rolls that one in. Commits to putting a bit of distance in between the cue ball and the black. And just probably trying to make his way around the other red to try and get himself set up for that shot into the right corner. He's now going to try and take this one in. Get the cue ball to be past the main danger area. 24 points advantage here for him. So far, it has been his highest break in the entire match here. See if he's going to be able to maintain this pace and get himself into the first 50+ break of this matchup too. Gets another good red into the right corner. Remember, he has managed to stay on the black for pretty much every single one of those shots. And, so many of those maximums being made, and so many of those being made by the Chinese players too at the Championship League. So looking forward to seeing one of the German Masters here, after us already smashing the record of last season of 15 maximums being made. I think we're on something like 19 or 20, with all those ones coming at the early start of 2026, made by Chris Wakelin, Wu Yize, Zhao Xington, and Xiao Grun, of course, as well. Now then, once again, another red disappears, and he's on the black yet again. Of course, Ronnie O'Sullivan's made 2 maximums so far this season, all of them coming incredibly at the same tournament, and all of them incredibly coming in the same match in the semi-final against Chris Wakelin. So he certainly knows a thing or two about making a maximum break. And still, as long as he's able to keep that chance alive there for him. He's got this red into the right corner available. And he should have a line for the cue ball to try and get himself lined up for this black to be taken. So current break of 41 points. If he takes this black in, Ronnie clearly doesn't seem to be too interested right now. Just looking around the tables to see what's going on. So he will be looking and keeping a bit of a look there on that table number 3 of Li Hongyu against Mark Selby. Another thing though, I mean, yeah, I was thinking about that one with a couple of previous shots. Long Zehuang, as long as he has to try and go for this maximum attempt, he needs to make sure he doesn't actually run away with it too much And he's still playing well enough for him to be taking this frame away there from Ronnie. And now he's got a difficult shot. So the maximum picture is out of the game now. He's going to try and play this red into the right corner. No chance of getting on the black. And, well, he manages to get the red in, though. So that was a good shot. And, well, with him cannoning the pink, let's see. I said he had no chance of getting on the black. I mean, surely he's not going to take this black on. Yeah, he needs to make sure he commits enough to win the frame. He's not over the line. He probably studied the position to make sure that he's going to have a couple of bumps along the way, but for Ronnie to come back to the table. But he needs this frame more. That he needs that attempt for the maximum. And, oh, he's actually missed the pink. So he thought that was going to be the easiest colour for him to go for. And in the end, he actually was the one that he's missed. I mean, that's going to be difficult to get out of advantage. But ultimately, 91 at the table. Of course, that's going to be a bit of a disadvantage when you play so many of those shots all with the black. You lose so little points. And in the end, you need 73 points for you to be over the line and for your opponent to be needing snookers. Right now, it is another task here for Ronnie. He didn't found himself to be behind in any of the previous frames. Well, he does now. And he got himself a chance by taking that red into the green pocket. He needs to get rid of 2 of those on the top part of the table. And then he's got 4 more on the lower part of it. I think there is going to be a way for him to try and make his way through all of those reds without making severe contact to the position on any of those occasions. Now, he needs to make sure he's going to be able to control the cue ball well enough. And, well, he was worried about it. I still think he's on the brown. Just may need to bring the cue ball down the table slightly sooner than he wanted. Well, he doesn't seem to be happy with it at all. And, well, let's see if he's able to go for the brown. The angle certainly suggests that he can, and he could. But clearly, was just trying to play for this red into the green pocket. Give it a little nudge. And I'm not sure that he's going to get past the green into the pocket. And, well, I'm sure now he won't. And it's just a safety that he needs to play. Once again, another low value break, but at least he hasn't given anything easy away to his opponent. 38 points behind. 75 still up for grabs, so he's not out of this frame yet. And I think it is going to be another boost there for Ronnie if he's able to win this match 5-0 or something. You know, with the odds being so low for him to be on the losing side of this match. You have to concentrate sometimes on just making the scoreline as dominant as possible. For a mental point of view for yourself, but also just making sure you're going to be dominating all of this playtime. Get all of this table time to yourself too. And it's a really nice shot that Long has played. So there's going to be a bit of a touch to the red. He used the power really well. He has a brilliant shot there from Long. Gives the turn back to Ronnie. Should be able to just try and pretty much replicate the position of the cue ball, but caught one of those reds in the progress. And I think he has left a long red available, but yeah, he was really fortunate not to give a frame-winning chance away here. Well, he might have, because the contact that he made to those reds has left a plant on for Zehuang, and he's got the angle to try and get the cue ball safe. So let's see if he's going to try and go for it. I think he has. He's missed it though. How's the cue ball going to go? Onto the top part of the table. He's going to go well beyond the bulk line. And I think he's played it really well in terms of hasn't left any long shot opportunity at all there for Ronnie. I think he could have done slightly better with a plant. But easier said than done. Ronnie finds a really good safety shot now. Gets the cue ball and a little bit of a lucky kiss there off the green. Gets the cue ball in behind the bulk line. Once again, back to Long it goes. So I think he's got another opportunity to try and maybe guide one of those reds into the right corner. Of course, technically, he can afford and probably should try and make one of those reds in with a long shot. Not able to do so on this attempt, though. Is he going to get the cue ball in behind the green? He was close, but not close enough. And once again, it has got a variety of 3 reds that Ronnie can try and take into the left corner for now. And he wasn't focused too much on the passing angle though. Just trying to make sure he's able to get the cue ball to the top part of the table. Plays the shot nicely though. 38-point advantage still remains to be there. And Long should be able to try and go for this right now. Into the right corner and give it a proper effort. And third time lucky, brilliant shot there for him. And surely just a safety shot that he has to play. Well, you know, maybe the cue ball is going to be close to this green. No, I thought he was going to have a chance to try and take it into the yellow pocket. In the end, he's going to be right above the green. So it just takes another step towards winning this frame. Of course, he can't afford to do that now. He's got 39 points advantage. And if he takes all of those reds out of the game, barring the last one, he's going to be able to win this frame with no real chance given away to Ronnie here. But of course, the way to boost your scoreline is going to have to be getting a couple of those foul points. And has Ronnie played the shot well enough? I think he has, to an extent, because he didn't leave an easy red away. But I still think this one along the side cushion can be taken, although Long has to be really has to be really careful with this one, that he doesn't allow Ronnie O'Sullivan back at the table so cheaply. If he rolls this red over the pocket basically and leaves it there, and he hasn't done so, brilliant shot there for him. Still making sure that there was going to be an element of safety there for him. Get the cue ball to the top part of the table, and now surely there's no way back for Ronnie at this frame. 40-point advantage with 59 at the table. Should be able to take this yellow away, and once again he has to go back to that early mistake there from Ronnie, trying to force the position to open up straight away. May not be over just yet though, because I thought he was going to try and bounce the cue ball off the side cushion on the left hand side. In the end he tried to stun it and get it down the table. And despite this red not being the hardest shot that he has to play, he still needs a lot of care on it. And a bit of topspin applied on the white. Should get it onto the ball cushion, onto the black ball cushion, and onto the side here. But still, make sure you concentrate on the pot enough. And he has. I mean, the third frame has probably been a bit of a sign of concern there for Ronnie, because all of those shots that Long has been missing in the opening two frames, he didn't really miss any of them on the third frame here. And he's about 2 shots away from winning his first frame against Ronnie O'Sullivan. Gets the cue ball nicely to bounce away onto the side cushion. Now he's going to have 50 points advantage. So this red, for Ronnie to need 2 snookers for him to be back in the game here. And it is going to be taken there. So Long seems to be enjoying himself, particularly this frame. And a break of 49 points. Of course, missed an easy pink into the left middle. But apart from that, he has been flawless on this display. And similar to the one that we had in the second round of the China Grand Prix, with Yao Pengcheng having one of those frames against Ronnie. I think he was at the stage of 2-0, and didn't stop Ronnie from making a couple of centuries after that, and still winning that match comfortably, with the score being 5 frames to 1. But of course, at least Long himself get himself into a chance here. Gets the red away from the side cushion and into the open play. So he could still technically make this the highest break of the match for him. If he takes it with a total clearance, gets the red in nicely, and has played the cue ball to go around the green. As long as it's not going to be too close to the brown, he should be able to go for a total clearance here. Gets the green into its own pocket. Now the break of 29 points to be made as well. So 56 is going to be the maximum that he can try and achieve. Of course, we'll still take it above the highest break that he's managed so far in this match. Of course, comes at the same frame here as well, frame number 3. And before that, his highest break was 19 points scored. Gets the yellow and the green in the space of time. Now, Ronnie has to make sure he wins the 4th frame though, because if he doesn't, all of a sudden he leaves it into a first to 3 match, and especially with his opponent getting any sort of rhythm and momentum himself, could be a very dangerous thing there, because Ronnie doesn't have that. As much as you can praise him for the breaks of 63 points that he's made, hasn't really been playing anywhere near as consistent of snooker as we have seen on a couple of opening rounds so far this season. And Zehuang does seem to be getting a couple of really difficult shots in. Gets the pink and the blue in. Probably underplayed for the black slightly. So now once again repeats the highest break of 49 points. But this time around, he's going to take it one step further. And it's a wonderful total clearance there from Long here for him to be taking this match into a fourth frame while still being very much in the contention. It is now Ronnie O'Sullivan 2, Long Zehuang 1. And he's still going to have the opportunity to try and fight for this one. Of course, he's not going to give this one up too easily. And he's going to make sure he's going to be taking this fight to Ronnie. Just looking at the scores of the other matches. Lee Hun-Yu, once again, the match of Selby against Lee. He's replicating O'Sullivan against Long here. 2-1 at the same time to both champion from England and the qualifiers from China. Managing to win the third frame. Right now, Selby is at the table despite facing a 12-point deficit. And the other champion, this time around from China, Zhao Xington, is currently winning his match against another qualifier from China by 3 frames to 0 there. He had a bit of a scare in the opening frame, but apart from that, he didn't really seem to struggle in any other of those frames. He had the breaks of 77 and 125 points. So Zhao certainly seems to be playing really well when it comes to the second and third frames. Now then, still waiting for Ronnie to make his way back to the table here. It has been a bit of a break there for him. Remember that he has spent majority of the third frame being very much sat in his chair. Let's see if that's going to change for the fourth frame. As I say, I mean, for him to be taking this match comfortably, he needs to ensure he takes the fourth frame as well. Otherwise, it is going to be 2 frames each, and that's going to be very different for him to have that 3-1 cushion, have that 2-frame advantage very much restored, and getting back to normal for him. But now just a bit of a break there with the referee taking a bit of extra time to ensure that the positions of the reds and the colours are going to be matching the requirements there. So just having a look one more time. Bit of a delay there for us to get the fourth frame started. Maybe just waiting for one of the players. No, that's not the case. Both Long and Ronnie are going to be sat in their chair waiting patiently for the command to occur. Of course, slightly different setup, as you can see with the tables at the German Masters, because of the arena that you got here at the Tempodrome. Now, once again, a break-off shot for Long, and Ronnie needs an answer to a break of 56 and 49 points made by Long Zehuang in the previous frame. The best that Ronnie managed was a break of 6 points at that time. And he starts off with a good break-off shot. I think he's going to have the blue to cover up that red from being potable onto the left corner. And has he? He's going to try and go for it, but he was always going to be trying to force that one too much. And the red is going to be going over the right middle yet again. So that's not the response that you want to see from Ronnie's point of view. And once again, it is another long shot that he's been missed. And he's going to have this red to go over the middle. Long Zehuang is certainly going to have to try and work for this frame a lot harder than for the previous one right now. Because he had the position on the plate. He had all of those reds being well, very much in open play there at that time. Right now, he's got probably 14 of those being covered up. He's tried to play for one of those loose reds, though. Don't think he's done too good of a job, though. Because despite him having the ability to try and go for this red, the cubo is going to go into the black. So he needs to justify and judge the contact in between the white and the black to ensure that he's going to land on it. And he has landed on it. But because of that being the only loose red that he had, he's going to be very difficult to try and make things happen from here. I think he's got very little to absolutely no angle at all. He's looking for a plant potentially into the right middle, but You very rarely see plants coming at the middle. Well, it's not going into the pocket anyway, but there's distance in between the reds. The angle is tight. You shouldn't be going for a shot like that at any stage of your career. But doesn't mean that he won't go for it. He's got 14 points. There's the advantage. And he can try and go for this red now into the middle. So let's see if that's going to be the decision that he makes. Of course, another way for him to try and get comfortable in this match is going to be trying to get those breaks of 14 points. And at the end of it, just make sure you don't go for anything reckless. Try and wear Ronnie down. It has been a strategy used before. And different outcomes before. But also, you need to make sure that if Ronnie's going to be sitting in his chair and not playing snooker at all, especially when it comes to the attacking shots, he's going to be getting impatient no matter how much he wants to try and stay in this tournament. He's going to have to try and change his style for that completely. He's played a good shot though. I think he got slightly lucky with a kiss on the green. And forcing Long Zehuang to go onto the left side cushion, maybe onto the blackbill cushion too. And he's going to beat 2 cushion escape. Needs to make sure he's not going to hit the red closest to the left middle. And he's played the shot really nicely, to be fair. I think all of those reds bunched up helped. But just making sure nothing is available here for Ronnie at this stage. And it has been some time since Ronnie had a real opportunity for him to be going for that. A break to try and get him another frame on the board. Ronnie has gone for that red into the left corner a couple of those occasions where he was a really difficult cut. Missed on both of those occasions. And despite not being punished for it first time, certainly was punished at full pace on the second time of asking. And, well, Long Zehuang, he's the one that blinks first in the safety battle, missing the contact on the reds completely. So he's going to have 4 points away given to Ronnie here. And more importantly, the cue ball is going to be respotted back, so needs to make sure the referee that he gets this one absolutely spot on. And, well, the thing for Long here, getting on the second attempt, so you're going to have to try and change the approach completely. Not going to be a nice thing to do here. I think you can see one of those reds full ball. And, yeah, he was never going to miss this one on the second time, though, because there was no need for him to be taking it as thin as he possibly can do. There was always going to be a side cushion for the cue ball to bounce away from. And it's a really nice shot there. Nicely judged on the pace too. The cue ball is going to be on the ball cushion. And it's Ronnie's turn to try and go really thin on the shred. This time around though, he makes it from the first time. And gets the cue ball once again way beyond that D zone. So I think only leaving just the left hand side of the table available here to Long Zehuang. Let's see if he's going to try and make it on the left side. Or maybe just going for the shot off the side cushion first instead. Still has a 10-point advantage, which is not going to mean too much to him. Needs to make sure he's going to be getting more of those points here. And just keeping the position closed. And once again, the acknowledgement coming from Ronnie. Because of the cue ball being nicely behind the yellow, the blue is going to be in the way too. So I think a shot from the side cushion coming up. And, well, the last time this happened, it was a chance given away there to Long. Let's see if that's going to be the case. Once again here, though. So he needs to try and get the cue ball onto the side cushion, the black ball cushion. And then just bounce the white away onto the top part of the table. Well, he's gone for another shot selection. And I think he's managed to play this one well enough for this red to make it not valuable at all there for Long. Because he can try and take this red easily into the left corner. But there's no point risking that minor chance of a fault in the pot, whilst not having the angle to try and get on the black or any other colours. So, just a safety being played once again. And played quite nicely. Long got quite close to the jaw of the middle pocket, but avoiding that one in the end. Putting one of those reds on the side cushion. Whether that was the intention for him to be expecting himself to be the man setting up the pace to this frame. And Ronnie O'Sullivan being the one that needs a clearance for him to be taking this one into a 3-1 lead into the intermission. But right now, the early parts of this match are seeing that Ronnie is going to be trying to get himself into a foot forward there when it comes to those safety battles. And Long Zehuang certainly has been able to take a step forwards in this aspect of the game. And he gets himself a long shot opportunity. It's not going to be an easy one. And also, doesn't have anything guaranteed to him when it comes to the colours. Let's see if he's going to be able to take it though. He does. And he finds a beautiful path there for the cue ball to travel past the black and all of these reds. But it is going to end on the side cushion here. He's got the ball colours available, so he's got the brown and the green that he could try and take on into the green pocket. But, yeah, I mean, perfect way that he's played the shot in the way of getting all of those colours and reds to avoid. And the way of the cue ball. In the end, he's going to have to try and go for this blue. It's not an easy one. And also, I'm just not sure about the option that he's got available to himself when it comes to taking those reds into the left corner. And he misses the blue. I mean, is that going to be a bit of a blessing in disguise, though? Because the shot that Ronnie O'Sullivan has got ahead of himself is going to be a very difficult one. And he's not even actually going to attempt this one. So just confirming the difficulty. And, well, it's a good point, though, because you don't often see Ronnie refusing a shot like that because he was clearly there. It wasn't a long shot. And the only problem was the cue ball being on the side cushion. But Ronnie there, just playing the percentage shot. And in the end, this could be a really nice thing there. Because I have to say, it's one thing of you know, when you see it in the opening frame. It's now frame 4, and he's still willing to take his time to try and get himself into a great position to be taking this match away from Long. Now then, 4 points given away here for a foul shot, so straight away, a bit of a reward. Once again, the only foul points, the only points that he scored so far in the frame have come from mistakes there from Long's point of view. Missing the contact on the red. Needs to make sure, though, he's going to be hitting this red, though, because it's not quite as easy to hit as he was on the previous occasion. But he's able to do it on the second time. Last thing you want is have a 3-miss rule to be threatening you. And potentially lose a frame for free to someone like Ronnie when you're actually ahead in the frame, potentially. And the position still being so closed up as it is. Another great shot that we can see from Ronnie. Getting all of those reds to be bunched up together. Despite it being such a big target area for Long to try and aim at. You know, the only red that he was working with previously, I think is not going to be visible there past the blue. Although it probably is actually the red that he's playing there, Long. But just limiting his options. Although he probably would have been the red that he was playing for anyway. And, well, I mean, I said he limited his options. He obviously didn't limit it enough there for this red not to be potable. And this is unfortunate there from Ronnie because, as I say, he probably has left the visibility for 2 or 3 of those reds. And in the end, the only one which was in open play, Long was able to get past the blue and get that one into the pocket nicely. So, a really nice shot there for him. I think he has to try and go for this long shot on the brown. There's no sense trying to get the cue ball to be in behind it. Is he going to go for it? He will. Is he going to make it? Yes, he will. And it's another great shot there from Long. And this is a dangerous point in the match. Because the previous frame was far from ideal from Ronnie's point of view. But now, this could turn into a bit of a dangerous point here. Because he's 12 points ahead. He's playing by far the better snooker in the last frame and a half. And the last 8 points, and probably the only points in the last 20 minutes or so, have actually been from Ronnie O'Sullivan, have actually come from foul shots. And his judgments on the cue ball point of view there from Long. And it didn't really cost him anything in the long-term game. But this is going to be a bit of a relief there to Ronnie in terms of Long Zehuang making the mess of the positional play on the black. And the only way for him to try and get this position sorted is going to have to be to try and take this black onto the side cushion. Or you can try and take the yellow with a long shot. I mean, If he takes the brown into the left corner previously, he may as well go for this long shot too. But he needs to realise, when you take 3 of the difficult shots there, you may miss one of them. And that's what he's done. Now, where's the cue ball going to finish? Is he going to finish where Ronnie's going to have the ability to try and play any of those reds? I don't think so. So once again, 6 points scored there. But ultimately, for Long, he doesn't really sacrifice anything here. Apart from Ronnie getting a prime opportunity to try and play a safety shot here. So quite lengthy, I would say, for the opening 3.5 frames that we've seen. Ronnie getting that cue ball to go to the top part of the table. And judge the pace really nicely, to be fair. So Long just having one more look to see if he's going to have the ability to get the left-hand side of all of those reds. Get the cue balls to the top part of the table. Ooh, I think he's going to leave one of those reds over the pocket. So in the end, patience worked out there for Ronnie on the previous occasion. And, well, I say patience. He didn't really have another option then to play a safety shot. But in the end, he clearly played it well enough for him to be leaving this red over the pocket. And now 13 points of a deficit is going to be absolutely nothing if he's going to be able to get himself onto the colour. Has he? I don't think he has. Well, certainly not an easy colour. He's got the pink, but it's a really difficult shot. He's got the green into its own pocket there, but that's going to be quite a tough shot on the cue ball's point of view. He's going to have to travel a long distance, and so far, those shots haven't been the best friends of Ronnie so far. So, well, Long clearly doesn't seem to be too happy with himself. He's got his head down, sitting in his chair. The green is in. Has he played this well enough, though? And so the cue ball just seems to be going into the mix. I think he's alright, but I'm not going to say he's perfect on this red. He's got one into the left middle. If he gets the cue ball, past the pink, he should be able to make sure he doesn't compromise himself too much. And he gets the red in as well. So just another chance to try and take this yellow into the left corner. So 8 points is the difference. He's got more than enough reds for him to be winning this frame in the current visit to the table. He's got 91 points. Still up for grabs there. And, well, you've got 2 of those reds being out of position. But if Ronnie gets himself into a great chance of winning this frame, he should be able to take it into a comfortable zone now, leading by 40 points or so. And at that point, just looking to finish the frame in the perfect style for himself. So this is the point for him to try and step up his game. Try and get it into the zone of responding to the previous breaks of 49 and 56 points being made by Long. So far, apart from that, 63 total clearance in the opening frame. Ronnie just doesn't seem to be happy with his tip there. Once again. So he had a look twice on it or something, and now it just seems to have the need to do some maintenance work on it. So maybe just one of those bits sticking out and either distracting Ronnie or just making the cue tip not feel as smooth as it should be. Potentially compromising the part, of course. He needs all the tools in the world now for him to have the best possible chance to be taking this. Of course, a delay like this is never perfect. And it's never going to be the advantage for the player. Once again, I mean, he's done the maintenance work. But he's gone down to hit the shot. And the 4th time, he's gone to see if he's going to have something wrong with the cue once again. So, well, a bit of a delay in this match. For weird reasons. Not the first time, of course. But you only feel like it's only Ronnie, really, that is experiencing problems like that with his tip. Can't really see anything from the camera, but because Ronnie won't be stopping for nothing. He's probably the last player on the tour that you would expect to be wasting time with, well, with any sort, really. Now then, once again, another attempt. Attempt number 5 to hit the shot. Let's see if he's going to be able to hit this one this time. No, he won't. Once again. Quick to get down to hit the shot and very quick to get back up as well. So let's see how this is going to get resolved. Because he's trying to do something with his tip. He's trying to do it with his finger there. It's clearly just something that he feels like he's sticking out there of the tip. Attempt number 6 now. Nope. Going to hit the shot, and once again, back up the table he goes. So, is he going to need a backup cue there? Let's see. Can he have... well, usually, you would have to say, maybe just try and replace the tip there, but it's not quite as easy as it may sound. So, let's see what he's going to try and do here. And now we just got another bit of cloth there to try and get onto the tip. And let's see if that's going to do it. Any help there for him. So once again, just a bit of a delay yet again here. And it's quite weird that he's gone out of nowhere, really. But I suppose it would have been even worse if he came up while I'm sitting in his chair, so not doing anything on his cue. Yeah, of course, this is going to compromise him massively for the next shot that he plays. Make no mistake about it. And if I was Long Zehuang, I wouldn't have his hand down massively now. This shot is not going to be an easy one, and it's been nearly 4 minutes since the last shot being played. Attempt number 7 now, as he gets down to hit this red into the middle. He's taken it, and he's actually made it, so I'm not going to say that I'm impressed with that one, but it's very important after the delay of 4 minutes for him to try and get back to the business. And gets the black into the right corner as well. Now finds himself out in this frame for the first time. So he's got 2 points advantage. He's got 83 of those points. So technically, if he makes all of those reds available with the black, he's going to be 42 points clear with 43 points at the table. Ooh, he nearly... Well, I'll tell you what, he was really close of making the mess of that position and getting the black in between the cube and the red. And yeah, that wasn't quite the case, as he gets the black in nicely. So let's see if he's going to have the ability to try and ensure that was the only minor flaw that he had in the positional play. But the fact that he will need one of those reds onto the black ball cushion might be a bit of a setback here. Thought he's going to have enough points, but he's going to miss out on one of those. So 11 points advantage, that is going to be 88, and yeah, as you can see, so 24 points that he could score of the 3 more raids that he's got in open play. So that'll bring him into 42 points advantage, with 43 still being at the table. So may not all be over for Long Zehuang in this frame, but certainly should be the second favourite for him to be the winner. And he needed this frame badly though. As much as I said, Ronnie needs this one, Long needed it a lot more than him. Because if you take it into a 3-1 deficit into the interval, you're going to be having a very hard time coming back against someone like Ronnie or Solo when you haven't got the experience against the top seeded players anyway. But also, when you give Ronnie a chance to hit those shots the way he has, you know, it's only the break of 47 points, which may not feel like a lot to someone like Ronnie that has made over 1,300 centuries in his career. And, well, it is going to mean a lot to him when he hasn't been playing week in, week out of the professional matches there. Missed out on the Masters. Didn't play at the Scottish Open. Or, of course, at the Snooker Shootout. And, well, I mean, I don't think he's played a good shot here at all. He got the red in, which was the good news. But he's going to be on the lower part of the black, which is going to be absolutely nowhere to the position that he would have liked to be at. So just rolls the black in. No real effort to try and make the cue ball around the table. And the concern that he could have had at the point that he started the break is going to be very much the reality now. He's got 55 points to the break and 42 points with the advantage, despite having 43 still being up for grabs there. I think he manages to cover up one of those reds with a pink, the other one being available to Long here. And ideally, of course, Ronnie would have liked to put the black safe, but you also have to understand at the point where he has got the chance of, he's 35 points clear, and he can take the black into the corner pocket, so that'll take him 42 points at advantage, but of course your opponent will need that black for the clearance anyway. So you could argue that probably would have been better off just trying to hit that black into the side cushion, but you know, I can understand why he didn't try to do so. And now this could be the chance for him to try and take this frame away there from the opposition. Long Zehuang didn't really play, didn't get too much of a good contact on that red, pushing it close enough to the pocket for it to be potable. Ooh, he's missed it though. Now, where's the cue ball going to be? The red has gone onto the side cushion, but still close to the pocket. And, no, I'll tell you what. The black being on his spot right now, as I say, and Ronnie having that 42-point advantage, I still actually think, despite me understanding why he's gone for that black, I think that was a 100 IQ shot, and 150 IQ shot would have been trying to put that black onto the side cushion. But we'll have to wait and see how this frame goes. For now, it is a bit of luck there for Long, because he was going to have a long shot conceded there to Ronnie. In the end, a lucky kiss on the yellow means that the cue ball is going to be in behind the green and not leaving that red visible at all there for Ronnie O'Sullivan. So he takes the red that he's previously put onto the side cushion away from the pocket and pretty much leaves the cue ball to be very close to the left corner for good measure. So then take this cue ball onto the black ball cushion once again there from Long, and make sure you're going to be very close to the cue ball being in behind the spine of the black and the pink. He's shy to do so, and I think Ronnie is going to be able to swerve around black. Might be able to hit the edge of the red as well. So doesn't fancy on the first chance though. He does on the second one. Oh, he could actually pot this one. I knew he could see enough of it, but he actually has managed to miss the red. Although, I mean, this is why sometimes you actually don't know how the frame is going to go there, because for him to pot the black previously, right now Long Zehuang needs the black of both of those reds. He needs the pink for it to be a draw and a respot on one of those occasions. He manages to cue the first shot nicely though. So apart from having the necessity to play the first red of the black, which, I mean, he's done a decent work of bringing the cue ball down the table, still should be able to get the black in, but he hasn't. And that is going to be the end for this frame. And there's not going to be any point for Long Zehuang to continue. And it is going to be a 3-1 advantage for Ronnie O'Sullivan to be taken into the second mini session there. It hasn't been pretty, but it certainly has been all about the result. Ronnie now leads Long Zehuang by 3 frames to 1. Zhao Xingtong leads Zhang Zhan by 4 frames to 0. Mark Selby 3-1 against Lee Kuan Yew. And Kai Wilson is still battling against Scott Donaldson for it to be at 2 frames each. 15 minutes intermission, and then we will back for Ronnie O'Sullivan to feature at the second mini session and hopefully get it done against Long Zehuang to face off against Ali Carter in the opening round of the main draw at the German Masters.
I'm coming home, Savannah. We'll never be alone, Savannah. Suck me in smoke, breathe me in and let me go. Filling the lungs inside you, and the blackened eyes make my way into your mind. Just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control. take me in slow, breathe me in and let me go. Sink to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but in the dead of the night. Teardrops on the floor. The pain is over. Feel the darkness take control. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Come on, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. know anything. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. when you want to get off the darkest ground. But gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down.
Right then, everybody, we're back. The intermission is over, and let's see if it is going to be more of the same there from Ronnie O'Sullivan in terms of him just trying to grind his way out onto the main draw, facing Ali Carter in the opening round of that one. We already have one of the players, one of the high-rated seeds, to make his way through the qualifying rounds, as after the break-off shot that Ronnie has done, we've got a chance now for Long Tae-hyun to go for the long shot. And he's gone for it, and he's made it as well. So these are going to be the shots for him to try and make his way to the top of his game to try and challenge Ronnie here. In the meantime, by the way, as I say, Xiao has already managed to take 2 century breaks there against Jeongjun. The breaks of 60 plus in 4 out of the opening 5 frames, and he's already through to the main draw. Mark Selby has got another century in his match against Liu Hongyu. And, well, Ronnie O'Sullivan is still sitting on the break of 63 points as his highest one in the match so far. And Long doesn't seem to be too far away from him. He's on the break of 56 points as his maximum. So, yeah, quite a weird one. As I say, I think I knew that Weezer was a weird one because he was playing in the Championship League a couple of days before his scheduled match with, can't remember who. Well, I know Chang Min-yu was scheduled to play Robertson, so it was always a bit of a shock there when you see someone about to play, high-rated senior player to walk out, but apparently, going through on a little search, it was due to the visa problems, which I have to say is quite baffling. When you've got a card on the snooker tour, I know it's in Germany, which is not a part of the United Kingdom or China, which are going to be the places where the majority of those tournaments are going to be played. But still, it's quite a weird reason to not be participating there. But I assume it just can be a bit of a weird news report there. Now then, Long Tae-hyun is on a good charge now, but that's going to end straight away. Just as I say, he's on a good charge. He scores 14 points, and then he misses the easiest black of the spot that you're going to see in the entire tournament here. Well, this is going to be a very cheap giveaway. Although he's not going to have the perfect position for Ronnie O'Sullivan to be set up. He's got a couple of reds to try and make his way through. But, you know, a couple of reds there, a couple of reds here. And then all of a sudden, you only have 8 reds to make his way through. And then you're going to have yourself a nice little chance to try and go really deep into this break. Total points, 154 for Ronnie, 188 for Long though. But I have to say, in 4 frames, if you get to 154 points, that's actually not bad. What is bad is, I think it's all about the fact of, would like to see the average break points there for Ronnie. And, yeah, don't think it's going to be looking too nicely there. Let's see though. Ronnie O'Sullivan once again with a chance to get into those reds from the blue, but if he could have gone wrong, it has gone wrong. He caught the pink somehow. And I've got absolutely no idea, by the way, how did he manage to hit this shot this well. But he basically, I mean, if he hit this shot 10 times, he wouldn't be able to get close to it. Basically, the pink was right above the entire bunch of reds. And then he somehow manages to force the pink onto one part of the table, the cue ball onto another, and no contact being made to those reds. So 14 points scored by each of the players. 5 reds eliminated, so 10 to make our way through. A very quick start to the 5th frame. And probably about to enter a bit of a slow part though. because 10 reds, all of them bunched up together. And a really nice shot, though, from Zehuang here. Puts Ronnie O'Sullivan under a little bit of pressure. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get through to this loose red at the bottom part of it. He should be able to. So just put it into the mix of the main bunch. Ooh, hasn't played this shot well. Yeah, he hasn't played this shot well at all. I mean, he got the cue ball to be on the bulk line, which is all right, but that red should have been a lot closer to the side cushion. And I don't know if he's mad at himself when he's smiling like that, or he's just feeling like, well, maybe it is an invitation, but I don't think he'll take it. I think in the opening 2 frames he wouldn't take it, but with the way that he's been playing in frames 3 and 4, he may be able to do so, you know. Not here, though. Missed it. Has he left anything? Not the same red. I think Ronnie may be able to get through to one of those reds into the left corner. That's what he's looking at right now. And I'm just trying to judge his body language there. Probably saying that it's going to be too close for him to make that effort. Or is it? No, he's gone for it, and he made it. So, once again, 9 reds to make your way through, and I don't actually feel like he's got too many of those in open play here. He has got a 1-point advantage, so you'll have to send the cue ball onto the main bunch, and unlucky, but also a bit weird of a shot selection there. He's tried to make the cue ball onto the main bunch from the angle, which I actually feel like was there. But he's still very unfortunate for the cue ball to go exactly into the pocket. And that's going to be 7 points given away there as a foul shot. So he's going to be 6 points behind, but ultimately, let's see if he's going to be the chance here for one of those long shots to be taken. Doesn't seem to be the case. And Longy is just going to have a chance to bring the last red to the lower part of the table. So this time around, we're going to have 9 reds to make our way through. Quick start to the frame, but still no guarantee on who's going to be the winner. And those are the interesting frames, to be fair, because when you've got so little reds on the table, and 9 in comparison to 15 is going to be quite a low number, it just matters massively on to who's going to get the first chance. That way, you're going to have to concentrate on their safety shots a lot more than you usually would do. And also, when you have a long shot available to yourself, you have to think twice or maybe even 3 times before you actually take it on. It just might be slightly too risky for you to be taking those shots on. And of course, it depends on multiple factors. You know, whether you're going to get a chance to try and get on the collar, trying to put the cue ball safe and stuff like that. That's very off topic, and I mean, Ratcha has gone, yeah, very off topic. Listen, like, I've got my country, which is very much participated in similar sort of stuff, but I mean, unless I get the end of the world confirmation, that is very much off topic, and I don't think that is going to be there in the chat. For now, Zehuang plays a shot that puts Ronnie O'Sullivan very much in open play. So let's see if he's going to have this red to be pushed onto the left side cushion. He's tried to do so, and got the cue ball to the top part of the table. And I think he's managed to cover up the majority of those reds here, which is going to be the fact for Zehuang to try and check here. Should be able to try and get a cross double with a minor angle though. And then we should be able to just witness another transition for the cue ball onto the black ball cushion and back to the bold cushion with a huge bounce. But of course, for that to be the case, he needs to actually see enough of that red. And remember, he has hit one of those shots too thin on the edge previously. And rocked the cue ball onto the jaws of the left corner pocket. Well, this time around, it clearly feels like he didn't see enough of that red. And has he played a good enough shot here? He clearly has, because Ronnie's not going to take a second look in terms of the red available onto the right corner. And right now it's just going back and forward there for Ronnie and Long. He should be able to cover up. Well, I think he has managed to improve on this position slightly though, because he hasn't got too many of those reds onto the side cushion right now, and therefore he should have the opportunity to roll the cue ball on towards all of these reds here from their black ball cushion. Oh, he's tried to do that off the side. I mean, he clearly feels like he's got nothing to give away. And let's see if Ronnie is going to agree with him on this one. I think he is going to ask referee to put the cue ball exactly where he was, because he does have the chance to try and maybe get the cue ball into that corridor, slightly higher up the table, and leave an easy red into the left middle. I mean, I would love to see the number of foul points that we've seen given away there by Long. Don't actually, well, I've realised that Ronnie has given 7 of those away because of the foul shot that he's made on the black previously, but it was quite unfortunate. And I'm talking more about the snooker escape stats. Ronnie has seen a couple of shots that he had like that himself, but he was able to make his way out of those positions on all of those occasions. And once again, this time around, I mean, it's a weird shot that he's played there because he's taken so much of a difference in between the previous shot that he's taken and the one that he's played just now. And he got the cue ball into an absolute nowhere zone, where Ronnie should be doing better than that. Missed the red, which wasn't an easy one. But if it wasn't an easy, you have to ask why he was playing that one with so much power. Yeah, minor touch to the front jaw. And the good news is, of course, he was playing for the cue ball to be on the top part of the blue. I don't think he's given any of those easy reds away. Maybe taking one along the side cushion, though. Let's see if he is. Ooh, he wasn't. But he nearly got the cue ball to wobble in the jaws once again out there. So Ronnie has got a long shot available, but I don't think he's going to be in the mood in taking a shot like that on at this stage of the match. Just try and maybe get their black into the open play. And whether that was the attempt, he certainly focused on the cue ball position really well. And got the white to the top part of the table, closer to the green pocket. And, well, Long is trying to go onto the right part of the shred. It's got the cue ball to be sent towards the green there. Just about misses the contact with it. And I actually think he's played a really good shot now, because he's left Ronnie with 2 options. He can try and go super tight and make a super thin contact on the shred, or make it super wide there. And that was always the danger. He's gone super wide, and he's made it too wide out there, getting too close to the jaws of the pocket. And it was a good shot previously from Long, but still, you would have expected Ronnie to do slightly better than that. I don't think he's given too much away at this stage. Yeah, you can see he didn't even rattle the jaws. He just got way too close to the pocket, and that way he allowed the chance to his opponent to try and take this position under his control. Even if Ronnie survives this match, it's unlikely he can beat the rest to lift the German Masters Cup. Well, I will say yes, but as I say, I'd rather him win the first round than lose the first round. I think that's natural. And he is very much unlikely, and he's got a very tough draw to go with it as well. You know, he's got Mark Selby against Shusi pretty much booked in. The last time I checked, it was 4-1. And I can still see Selby in the background, so he's still playing, so he's not quite finished his match. And, of course, in his first round, I'm talking about the third round, he's got Ali Carter to try and play. And just as I say that, I actually think that Mark Selby might be packing his cue in the background. So he may have just finished his matchup against Lee Hon Yu. And yeah, he's got Ali Carter in the main draw, and then he's got Mark Selby in the second or third round, whatever you want to call it, last 16, before he's going to be able to get himself into the quarterfinal stage. But this is going to be one of the more difficult tournaments for him to win. But that should be the motivation. If he likes the crowd, if he likes the place, if he likes the venue, certainly should be trying to make his best out of it. So 14 points as the advantage for the time being for Long. Of course, didn't really mention too much on the break because he was entering the easy part of it. Right now, he's got one more red to try and take into the left middle. And then he's going to have to try and make things happen onto the rest of those 4 reds. Unless he's got a plant available for him. Ooh, I mean, I thought the camera angle was a bit misleading there. I thought you hit that one way too close to the front jaw. In the end, he actually didn't touch it at all. So still looks to be in control of the position. But I think he has overrun for the black though. And maybe he hasn't. Let's see, got the wonderful kiss on all of those 4 reds. He's managed to, yeah, he had the beautiful line there for the cue ball to be right on the path there to spread those 4 away from each other in the best possible manner. And once again, does have the feeling of that 3rd frame where he was Long Zehuang with that early break that's done all the damage, but this time around you actually feel like this could be the only frame that we've seen so far that wins the frame. Ooh, I mean, just as I say that, it's a poor shot that he's played. I mean, the fact that he reacted normally to it probably suggests that he didn't have another option, but I actually don't buy that he didn't have another option. He had 3 reds to choose from, and he got himself absolutely nowhere near the black here. The pink being out of his spot, the blue being so far up the table. Just as I say, it was the perfect opportunity for him to win that frame in a single visit to the table. In the end, that's not going to be the case here. Because he did have 20 points to go with it, but you know what I mean, like, go on a break of 60 or 70 points. Going by Ronnie's current form, you'd be lucky to make it to the semi. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you told me right now that Ronnie will make it to the semis, I'd snap your hand off. Absolutely, I'll take that. I think Ronnie would. And Ron Zehuang there, going for the yellow. Ooh, I mean, this may be the beginning of the end. Ronnie was watching that yellow closely, but the problem that he's got, Long Zehuang has, is that by taking that yellow on, he probably has thrown all the caution out of the window. And now 29 points advantage is not going to be too much at all for him to try and hang on to. Ronnie has made that 22 points of a deficit now. He's got 3 of those reds, all of them pretty much in available play. He's got the pink and the blue being so close to each other. But basically the blue that you have to take for the clearance, and then the pink is going to be an easy pot for the middle. So this is still a great chance for Ronnie to make sure he's not going to lose another frame here too long, and give him 4 opportunities to be taking this match away here in the qualifying round. So 14 points now is the deficit. Got himself lined up on the red, on the black ball cushion. Hi, hello Letitia. Trump has won, so he should be happy. And yeah, certainly looking forward to see if Ronnie's going to be able to make it, well, not quite a steal. It probably was quite a sloppy mistake from Long's point of view. And let's see if he's going to be able to get this brown in. So he needs this red to be taken into the middle pocket. I mean, very surprised with what he's played there. I mean, he's committed to playing a shot along the side cushion into the yellow pocket, but A, it's a weird shot that he's committed to anyway, and also he's underplayed for it massively. Like, he should not be taking this red on, and he has, and he's missed it, breaking news. I mean, to be fair to him, he was trying to get the pink and blue combination in between the cue ball and the red. Running the best love high, says Susan. And, well, certainly a lot of love there for Ronnie, but I'm not sure that he manages to get away with this. Well, the tap on the table there, from Long's point of view, may suggest that he has actually been able to get away with this one. So, yeah, you can see Long is unable to see this red, let alone trying to pot it. Well, yeah, he needs to try and go off the right side cushion onto the left side cushion and onto the actual red. Let's see. It's a decent line. Wow. It was a decent line for him to hit the red, but it probably wasn't for him to win the frame, because right now it is going to be Ronnie O'Sullivan to take this red on. I mean, this does have the feeling of the shot that he's played against Joel. I don't really understand why he's smiling about it. He should not be making such an amateur mistake. Second time of asking. This is the easiest red which you're ever going to take, and yet somehow he manages to play himself completely out of position. Good thing is, he managed to recover, got the blue in, so you can try and put that behind you and say, you can't be laughing about it now. Just concentrate onto winning the frame. and get the yellow into its own pocket. I think he will need well, certainly will need the blue. I don't think he'll need, maybe, actually will need the pink, but if he gets the blue in, he should be able to get the pink with no real effort there from his point of view. Now then, 2 points is the advantage. That's going to be taking it 6-point advantage, so he does need the pink for the frame to be taking it into a 4-1 lead. And once again, just replicating the scoreline of Mark Selby against Lee Huan-Yu. One thing you have to say about Ronnie so far is he doesn't seem to struggle against the qualifying players so much in this season, certainly. And I don't actually think you realise that he needs the pink as well because of the way that he's played for this one. Or maybe he was just checking if he needs the black there to make sure that he gets the cue ball as far away from the black as possible. And in the end, it is still a clearance, which is going to be good enough there for Ronnie. 26 points. He's not going to bother about the black because he wasn't playing for it in the first place. And Ronnie now takes a commanding lead. And he's now 4-1 up against Long Zehuang. And I'm not sure, apart from Gary Wilson and Scott Donaldson, we may be the only match that's still going there. Something that is very rarely to say about Ronnie O'Sullivan. And Wilson is somehow losing 4 frames to 1 there to Scott Donaldson. Because the reason I say somehow is because I swear I've seen him lead by 50 points or so on so many of those occasions. And no is the answer. He scored 27 points as his maximum, apart from the opening frame, which he's managed to take away from Scott. And Mark Selby certainly has managed to beat Lee Huan-Yu 5 frames to 1. Zhao Xington, as I mentioned. And whitewash against Cheong Jun. And let's have a look at where the top seeded players are going to be in the draw there while we have got time. On the choice you proposed, what's so? Yes, thank you, because you reminded me of that one. I think there was no point of making who's going to win the match because he was going to be 99.9 for Ronnie, and then he was going to be 0.1 people who misclicked for Long Zehuang. No disrespect, just facts. 77 for Ronnie. Well, you can see that most of the people probably still fought for that. But if you talk about the favourite to win the Masters, I put Ronnie in there because he's going to be the main, the main man, the face of the sport. And if I didn't put him there, have the full chat saying, why didn't you do that? But it is going to be a massive shout for Ronnie to win this German Masters. And I don't think so. I think he's one of the biggest underdogs of the top 10 players to actually have the chance to win this one. Of the other ones, you have to put Kyron Wilson as the other one because he is the current German Masters champion, beating Barry Hawkins last year. And also, he's just won the Triple Crown event at the Masters, so you can't say that Kyron Wilson is not going to be in the equation. But he's actually not with the bookies. They still go with Chomp. I don't know who he's going to go for Chomp right now because of him having that 13-month drought. Sorry, Letitia, but, just facts. But I suppose, on the other hand, eventually that will click. But I just think that I had a look at Chomp there, and that's the reason why I didn't put Chomp in there, actually. Chomp has lost around 7 of, basically, he's lost every decider, which has been at round 7 of those in this season. He's lost 2 against Stevens, he's lost 1 against Murphy, he's lost 1 against Slesser, he's lost against Higgins last week, he's lost against Lisowski in the final. That were the only deciders that he's played in this season, which still feels like a lot, but the fact that he hasn't won any of them just probably tells you that he's not really playing his best game because now Ronnie has got a long shot opportunity. Ooh, close, but not close enough for him to drop this red in. And looks like it won't be a long one. Well, it still has been longer than I expected because it's been 2 hours since the match has started. So let's see now. Ronnie is not happy with himself missing that long shot, as you would expect. Unfortunately, Current is consistent where he won twice in a row some championship. True, absolutely, I agree, but tell me who has. Tell me who has, because we've had this season, we've had Maguire, we had Kyron to win Shanghai, we've had Robertson, we've had Allen, Williams, Weezer, Mark Selby twice at the Champion of Champions and at the UK Championship. Then we had Kyron Wilson at the Masters. Then we had Chris Wakeland. Then we had Sean Murphy at the British Open. I mean, apart from it being an invitational and a ranking event, you don't seem to have any one of the players winning 2 on the bounce this season. What does it feel like? Ronnie's losing, although he's leading 4-1 up. Well, because you would expect him to be playing some brilliant stuff, making a century break in every single frame, making a maximum as well, whilst only playing with his left hand and not bothering to choke the queue until the frame is over. But, I mean, joking aside, I would be really concerned for the match. Not against Ali Carter. I still think he's going to have too much for Ali to offer. But that's going to be a lot closer than 4-1. And meanwhile, Zehuang has made a really nice long pot into the left corner. I would be really concerned about the match against Mark Selby in the 3rd round if he is to get there. But, yeah, I can't really see Ronnie like that beating Mark Selby because Selby's just way too consistent for him. And talk about consistency is when you talk about someone on the snooker tour, you have to give that to either someone like John Higgins or Mark Selby, really. Maybe Ronnie O'Sullivan back in a couple of years back, but probably not right now. And Streamlabs is there for whatever reason. Don't know how, don't know why, but that's nice. And the black to go into the right corner. So 16 points advantage here for Zehuang. And let's see if he's going to be able to go for this red into the right corner because he's played a really nice shot there. And, well, he got himself into a situation similar to this frame. Okay, so there's apparently... I didn't quite get who was saying that, but I think Zehuang himself said that he touched the red. Referee doesn't feel that. This could be the last shot that he's taken there. It's a good sportsmanship, and it's what you should do in a fair play sport. And I don't really see anything wrong with that, to be honest with you. Let's have a look at the check. Yeah, so he was the one that said he touched it. Let's see what the Hawkeye will say. But yeah, just quickly on the Ronnie's point of view, I still think he'll struggle against one of the top ranking players. Yeah, maybe he's talking about the double touch. So, yeah, the referee's just confirming that. The referee's just confirming that he was fine. I mean, the only thing that you actually could say that he was marginal was the way that he could have had a double contact on the cue ball. But the replay clearly doesn't confirm that. And in the end, you have to go with the original decision. If the player is not sure, and you can't see on the replay, there's absolutely no reason why you should be awarding a foul there. So, as I say, I didn't really hear what he said. He could have said, check it on the replay, or he could have actually said, I 100% touched it. Stuff like that. He has lost his way out of the black ball spot, though. He needs to go on the blue spot now. And if he gets himself into the side cushion here with the cue ball, let's see if he's going to have the ability to try and maybe get the cue ball to the top part of the table here. And back down for all the reds that he's got available to him. I mean, with the position that he has, if he's going to be able to take it beyond 45 points, he could well be making the first century of the match because the position is pretty much perfect there for him. And yeah, let's see if he's going to try get this ready to the right corner first. So, as I say, the scoreline of 4-1 probably doesn't represent the way that this match has gone because every single frame there's been around 30 points scored there from Zehuang's point of view, certainly, because I think the only frame that he's managed to win has only seen around 11 points or so there scored from Ronnie O'Sullivan's point of view. And he also had quite a few of those frames where he was 30 or 20 points behind. Then he was a mistake made by Lon himself and allowed Ronnie to be back into the equation for the frame. So 38 minutes right now. As you can have a look to see if he's going to have the ability to try and take this black into the left corner. And he was able to do so, but he's got a slightly awkward positional play. And, well, he certainly touched that one. I don't think there's going to be any jokes about this because And unfortunately, yeah, you could see that on replay. It was very clear that he has touched the red and yeah, basically moved it with the cue. Of course, very much not intentional. And well, what did I say? 30-40 points, and then there's a mistake. And well, Ronnie just seems to make an invention there, puts a rest on top of a spider. I mean, I'm not sure about that one. I mean, I guess it's Ronnie, but as long as it's not going to be a miscue, he's played this one really well. I mean, all the doubt is to believers. Brilliant shot there from Ronnie. Really underrated as well because of how little control you've got when you place the rest on top of a spider. And yet he manages to get himself nicely on the black here. And surely a frame-winning opportunity, which will turn it into a 5-1 win. Still, for it to be taking more than 2 hours is very much not a Ronnie-like thing to see. But it's going to be a lot better than for him to be participating in yet another frame. And one thing you have to say about Ronnie is that on majority of those occasions, he has been able to practice his skills of steal of those frames pretty well. You know, he had a total clearance on a couple of those occasions. And right now it is going to be the black to disappear into the right corner. So he's on the break of 16 now. As I say, I mentioned that Long Zehuang could have had a century break of this position. I don't think it is going to be an opportunity for Ronnie though, because well, he may just be able to squeeze that one in. Of course, focus on the frame win first. What match are you going to cover next? It's all about Ronnie for now. Until he's out, you know where to find me. If he's going to be playing against Sully Carter, then I'll be there. If he's going to be playing against Mark Selby, I'll be there. And then when we get to the quarterfinal, we may make it a bit of a mix. But, you know, a great champion once said we have to remember these days, because there's not guarantee that they're going to last forever. And you need to make sure you savor every single match that Ronnie has played, because you never know, World Championship may come, and nobody expected Stephen Hendry in 2012 to announce his retirement like that after having such a good run at the Worlds. You never quite know whether history will repeat itself in 2026. That way, better make sure I watch every single frame and every single match of Ronnie, especially, you know, as much as it's a sad thing to say, I'm not sure that you'll be here till the final. So I don't think it is going to be Ronnie O'Sullivan's show. But he certainly has been today. He's on a break of 30 points. He's about to make it even in terms of points scored for this frame. And still has got an opportunity, as I say, if he manages to stay on the black for the majority of those occasions, to make a century break to finish on the high. He's on 31 right now. As he takes the black in, that's going to be 38. So he's still going for 105. So can afford to take it with the blue on 2 of those occasions. And he's got a minor malfunction there with the brown in terms of it being out of position as the only colour. And Long Zehuang, well, listen, it's a decent performance for the first time for you to play someone like Ronnie O'Sullivan, because you can only imagine how shaky must that be, especially through the opening couple of frames. When you enter the arena with someone so special to the game. Someone that you most definitely have had pictures on the wall from the childhood previously, and yet you get a chance now to try and play against him in the match for the main draw of the tour. But you'll be back. He's still a lot younger there for Ronnie. I think he's around 28 years of age. And Lon has managed to get himself into this third round of qualifying for himself. Of course, had to feature in the opening 2. Managed to win both of them. And now it is going to be 20 points advantage, make that 21 points. So for Ronnie to be the winner of the frame, I think he needs one more red and black combination after this one. Where can we watch live match? Probably in the replay, because I think it's about to be over. For me, it's on WST Play, or I think you could watch now on TN Sport, but I'm not sure if you can watch the qualifying rounds because they don't seem to broadcast all of those on TNT. And for now, he's not going to be able to take this red or the black, so he's going to be going 35 points clear with 35 at the table. Oh, is it? Okay, that's nice. It is on TNT, but well, that's nice for it to be fair, because it's not the tournament that is going to be scheduled in the UK. And the fact that they're showing the qualifying round is actually quite a nice part to the game. But I suppose in contrast, there's not going to be too many things for you to show. on TNT on a Tuesday afternoon. Now then, if you get this Crane into its home pocket, he should certainly be on his way to be winning the call it round. Well, yeah, you know what? I don't buy it. I genuinely don't buy it because they've got round 1, but it's so confusing, man. You should have a qualifying for it because it's a special name for it, and then you should have round 1 of the last 32, round 2 for the last 16. But this is why I just saw 1/16th of the final, 1/8th of the final, 1/4 of the final, and so, stuff like that. Because round 1 could be a very different thing in one of those tournaments, and then it could be a very different thing in the other ones. But focus on the main thing is that Ronnie O'Sullivan has managed to do his maths pretty much correctly. I'm not really going to be a fan of the way that he's lining this shot up, because he still needs the pink and the black here. Tried to play a bit of exhibition stuff on the cue ball. Gets it close to the side cushion. Now needs this black for the century break, and that's going to test his patience here. I don't think he's going to have any of that, and well, not quite a century break. In the end, it was always going to be a tough shot for him to take on, and Long Zehuang will certainly say some good words about the performance there from Ronnie, and just how much of a pleasure for it to have been. You should check your local listings. Well, that's what I'm saying about it. I think it has been all about Ronnie O'Sullivan's show today, and we'll see more of him tomorrow against Sally Carter. For now, though, thank you very much for everyone tuning in. It's been a fun qualifying match, and we'll be back with the main draw of Ronnie O'Sullivan against Ali Carter. The rivalry will continue. I think pretty much 30 years since the first ever match being played against each other. It is now going to be the world number 8 against the world number 19, the captain against the Rocket. Thank you again. See you tomorrow. Stay tuned in.
When you want to get off the darkest ground, gravity pulls you straight down. Clear sky.